Tesla's Lone Star flag formation at Giga, Texas has been completed. April 8, 2022. It seems like the speculations of avid Tesla enthusiasts were right on the money. Tesla was indeed forming a creative Lone Star flag in the Gigafactory Texas complex using different colored Model Ys, and the end result looks absolutely cool. Gigafactory Texas is a massive facility with a lot of constant activity. But it is also very closely monitored by drone operators and Tesla watchers. Earlier this week, drone operator Joe Techtmeyer, who has been following the progress of Gigafactory Texas since its earliest days, spotted a group of 5 white Model Es that were parked in a strange star formation. This was interesting enough on its own, but the vehicles were also parked beside a line of blue Model Ys. This was when Tesla enthusiasts started to infer that the electric vehicle maker might be forming Texas Lone Star flag using dozens of its all-electric crossover. By this time, groups of blue, black, red, and white Model Ys were also sighted around the Gigafactory Texas complex. A more recent flyover of the Giga Texas site indicated that Tesla's Model Y Lone Star flag has now been completed. Comprised of 87 Model Ys and some select blue body panels. The formation is very impressive. It should be noted that the images of the completed Model Y flag formation were captured on the morning of April 7. The day of the Cyber Rodeo. By this time, other areas of Giga Texas where the Cyber Rodeo celebrations will be held were also being finished. There is a lot of excitement surrounding the Cyber Rodeo, partly because it would likely feature some of the company's most exciting projects like the Cybertruck. Doors to the event will be opening later at around 4 p.m. Central Time, though festivities will begin around 8 p.m. Central Time. At around 9 p.m. Central Time, Elon Musk would be holding a talk, which would be live-streamed online. The topic of Musk's address remains to be seen, though speculations are high that he would be discussing some updates about future projects like the Cybertruck, which the event seems to have been named after. While the Cyber Rodeo is strictly invite-only as per Tesla's official page for the event, Elon Musk has posted some notable updates as of late. When asked by a Tesla owner on Twitter if he could take his wife, who has no ticket, to the event, Musk responded that the door won't be super strict. What this means remains to be seen, though it appears that the CEO is more than willing to accommodate more visitors to Giga Texas grand opening. Source reposted and summarized from Simon Alvarez at Tesla RT. My take: yes, I realize that this will be posted after the event held last night. I can only imagine that all went well. Tesla may open its first auto repair shop in Kansas. April 8, 2022. Tesla has submitted a proposal to the city's planning committee to open its first auto repair shop in Kansas, where it will offer a variety of services. If the plan is approved, the permit could be discussed at Lenexa City Council in as little as 2 weeks after that. The popularity of Tesla vehicles continues to grow and the U.S. remains the manufacturer's largest market. That is why the company is looking to expand services for customers in more locations. The Kansas City Business Journal reports that Tesla, through a company called KANCO, is offering to build a 35.095 square foot facility on a 3-acre vacant lot at 101st Terrace and Lackman Road. According to the documents, the building will house 21 service bays, 2 paint booths, 2 paint bays, 2 open bays, and 2 wash bays. A preliminary plan for a new auto repair facility at 15,125 101st Terrace, submitted April 4 to the Lenexa Planning Commission, has been recommended for city staff approval. If it receives a green light from the planning committee, it will go to Lenexa City Council on April 19. The automaker's nearest sales and service center, which opened about 3 years ago, is located in South Kansas City. The increase in the number of service centers and auto repair shops directly affects the increase in Tesla customer satisfaction, due to the fact that the number of manufacturers' cars on the roads increases by hundreds of thousands every year. The provision of an appropriate service is essential, both for Tesla owners and for the company. Source reposted and summarized from Eva Fox at Tasmanian. My take: good plan. I prefer Tesla to look after my car as opposed to third-party garages. Charging an electric car represents a whole new paradigm. April 8, 2022. Electric vehicles take longer to charge than gas cars take to be fueled. While there's no denying this fact, EV drivers are using their charging hours elsewhere to make the most of the extra time. something we'll all need to consider as the world moves away from internal combustion engines. Charging EVs requires a paradigm shift compared to gas fueling, with activities such as shopping, going to restaurants or coffee shops, and sleeping being used to take up the extra time it takes to charge an EV according to Forbes. The average consumer may not realize some of the differences between EVs and gas cars, though many of them are hesitant to make the switch due to range anxiety, charging time, and a number of other uncertainties. Forbes argues that reframing thought around EV charging requires the user to see charging as a service, rather than as an energy commodity, as we do with gasoline. Compared to fueling a gas car, charging an EV depends more highly on where you are when charging, and what amenities or activities may be nearby and accessible. For one, home charging offers users the ability to charge while they sleep at night, largely removing the need for fast chargers or spending extra time out and about. If you don't have home charging equipment installed, you'll have to consider other options for charging and what kinds of amenities are available near the station at which you'll inevitably need to post up. Tesla head Elon Musk said last year that the company planned to build diners at many of the automaker's supercharger stations. A good example of how one might be able to use the time while charging up. When venturing out, Tesla owners can keep their cars locked as they charge, and they can monitor charge levels remotely using the Tesla app. Still, many EVs also offer added entertainment options for this very reason, including Tesla, which has made gaming an option from within the car, as another example of how one might spend their charging time. While it's time-consuming to charge an EV compared to filling up at the gas station, one of the benefits of charging EVs comparatively is that it represents a much lower cost for drivers. It currently costs around 3 times more to run a gas vehicle than an EV according to consultants at ICF's Climate Center, and is reported by Business Insider. Much is still needed in the years to come to make chargers as popular as gas stations, especially as more and more consumers adopt EVs in their personal garages. The Biden administration recently revealed a $5 billion plan which would effectively place EV chargers every 50 miles across the U.S. Increased availability of chargers and surrounding amenities will only help the average consumer to feel more comfortable making an electric purchase, and further sparked the transition to zero-emission transportation solutions. Source reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Evernex. My take: I can see the near future with batteries that will charge 80% in a few minutes. Biden officials meet with Musk and others about EVs, April 8, 2022. According to a recent report from Reuters, Biden administration senior officials held a meeting this Wednesday, April 6, 2022, with top leaders in the automotive space. Those present included the likes of Tesla CEO Elon Musk and General Motors CEO Mary Barra. Of course, Musk and Barra are the two names first mentioned, since the two have arguably been at odds and haven't appeared to spend much time together over the years. This, added to the fact that Musk and Biden don't see eye to eye, and the administration has been touting GM ahead of Tesla and all other automakers when it comes to the future of EVs on our shores. Reuters notes that several other major automotive leaders were also involved in the talks, including Ford CEO Jim Farley, Stellantis Chrysler CEO Carlos Tavares, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson, and Nissan America's chair Jeremy Pappen. Executives from Kia, Hyundai, Mazda, Subaru, and Toyota also participated, aside from the absence of VW Group's Herbert Diess and Rivian's RJ Scaringe. The Biden administration essentially had all the major EV newsmakers on hand to talk about EVs and charging. On the other side of the table were U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, National Climate Advisor Gina McCarthy, and Infrastructure Coordinator Mitch Landrieu. Very little has been shared about the event details and conversations at this point, though we'll likely learn much more later. The Biden administration did share that the discussions focused on the government funding to create a national network of 500,000 chargers. An official statement from the administration shared that there was broad consensus that charging stations and vehicles need to be interoperable and provide a seamless user experience. No matter what car you drive or where you charge your EV, one can only hope that these CEOs also made it abundantly clear that the government's funding for EV charging should focus heavily on DC fast charging rather than the Level 2 charging networks many automakers and government officials have been touting. This all comes on the heels of the Environmental Protection Agency's decision to reinstate an earlier Clean Air Act waiver that will allow California to set its own individual emissions requirements and zero-emission vehicle mandates. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents most major automakers, admitted that new rules will be challenging to the industry, and government support will be critical. Source reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS. My take: it's nice to see everyone trying to work together for once.